Are we judging the speech right now? Because you're on the.
This is not an act.
You're on the challenge.
You're on the list.
Oh no, you're kind of on a roll, so you know.
This is the pre-show. This is where I say, if you have a phone, leave it on, because then we can laugh at you when it rings. Flash all you want with your cameras, because that would be our excuse if we make a mistake. It was the light in the eye. That whole thing. And the only other thing you need to know is that 2 of our acts are not here. I'm not going to mention that they're in the same family, but that's okay because they sent the mom and dad and grandparents to fill in, run around and for us, so that's okay. So Fisher and the last act are not here, so we probably will not have. But look at how great his grandparents looks.
Where's the nail?
What are you? What? Wow. Prop master.
There's not going to be an intermission because we probably don't have enough acts to stop. So we will just go straight through, go eat, and I'll count up the votes, and then we'll come back in and do the awards. Great. I think Larry's going to look it up. Yeah.
No, thank you. No, really, thank you very much. I still don't know who I am. Who's your actual talk show host? Now you scream like you're in shape. Well, welcome to the show. I hosted the Oscars, I hosted the Emmys, I hosted the Grammys. This is the first time they've ever asked me to host the St. Matthew Has Got Talent show, and it's been in existence for 4 years now. Anybody, show up to your daughters. Anyway, we're going to have a great show tonight, but we'd like a lot of audience participation, and what I mean by that is just because you're participating, and you're the only audience here being participators. We also want you to give back to our performers up here and make them feel really good or make them feel really bad, whatever they deserve. I'll be honest here. So, you know the Ellen Show. What does Ellen love to do? You guys catch on quick. So, everybody up on your seats. all go home now. Or have some hot dogs.
Oh my God.
Now you know the reason for the chair, right? All right. Once again. Pardon me? This is the elder chair.
She elevates.
She what?
She elevates.
Oh, I'm getting there. Okay, well. So, Amaya, Aubrey, and Michelle, they're going to start us off.
We're going to introduce the judges first, baby.
Oh, of course.
He doesn't have one. I gotta get this over with.
You had your speech.
No, I didn't. That wasn't. What is that?
What are you doing up here? That wasn't your speech.
That wasn't my speech.
Oh, my goodness.
Ellen, you're never going to get any of this one.
First time I saw the program was this evening. I saw you doing a speech earlier. What do I know? I guess I should start coming to rehearsal. All right, well, let me introduce to you the woman who makes this all possible, my good friend, Tanya Adams. Everybody. So, Tanya, have a seat.
Oh, I have to sit down.
But you're my guest. Okay, so tell us about tonight's talent show.
Well, tonight's talent show may or may not be the last talent show.
I've said that for 3 years now.
I have, but I really enjoy the talent show, and I have never seen a better talent show audience than this one.
And what else would you like to tell us about the St. Matthew show?
Well, the St. Matthew Show is a really safe place to come and exhibit your talent. So there was a slight mistake when someone said, you can do thumbs down. It's only thumbs up. Because everyone knows Ellen likes everyone to be happy.
Positively,
Yes.
charming,
Yes.
even when you're going like
No,
this.
there is no this. And I'm going first to prove it.
Oh, really? Talent? Oh, this is very exciting.
Go, Tanya.
Gonna give us some talent. Go ahead, Tanya, the stage is yours.
But before I do, I just want you to know that normally this would be memorized, but
We're at
it's,
St. Matthew.
yes, we're at St. Matthews and everything is safe. It doesn't have to be, you know, like it would be if it was really a Toastmaster speech.
Thank you for coming to Toastmasters again this week. Our featured guest speaker today will be Tanya Adams.
I wrote this a while ago, but I still feel the same way today as I did when I first wrote this. It's called Protecting the Nest. You had years of toys, books, and children who belong to other people thrown all over your living room. You spent years convincing your offspring that bathing is a requirement for a healthy social life. And once he got it, you spent years convincing him there's a limit to the amount of warm water available for bathing. And after all of this, 18 years of this, you come down with a bad case of ENS. Anyone here knows what ENS stands for? Empty nest syndrome. Psychology Today defines empty nest syndrome as feelings of loneliness and depression that occur among parents after children grow up and leave home. We could call it depression. But unlike many other depressions, ENS is usually short-lived because the true nature of law. But if I was to say this the way it was written, I would say, this is true because the laws of nature will eventually take over and help you realize what a great blessing it is to have an empty nest. The Mayo Clinic states in a recent study that an empty nest can also provide parents with many benefits. When the last child leaves home, parents have a new opportunity to reconnect with each other, improve the quality of their marriage, and rekindle interests for which they previously might not have had time. You can fill in the blank. That makes sense. It doesn't make sense to need a study to tell you this. The empty nest is a good American tradition. My fellow St. Matthew family, I am here to tell you that my generation is in danger of not experiencing the empty nest. The empty nest is becoming extinct. There are 3 trends that are contributing to the empty nest extinction. The first one, sticky kids. The second one, long life parents. The third one, Facebook. Sticky kids. Sticky kids describes the trend of the increasing number of children that fail to move out of the family home as is expected of people in their 20s. You can't shake them loose. They're stuck. This is sometimes called a failure to launch. A New York Times article titled, "What is it about 20-something?" states that 40% of the 20-somethings move back home with their parents at least once. It goes on to state that we are in the thick of what one sociologist calls the changing timetable for adulthood. I believe this changing timetable for adulthood is a threat to the empty nest. What is the long life parents trend? Well, long life itself is a threat to the empty nest. Yes, our parents are living longer, and I blame the pharmaceutical companies. And because of what we learned on Oprah Winfrey, we're no longer willing to put them in nursing homes. Our spare bedroom eliminates that fear in our empty nest. But how does the online social network, like Facebook, endanger the empty nest? Today, we are able to stay connected with our family members by agreeing to be their friends on Facebook, which embodies the old saying, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. So when your family member turned Facebook friend, ask the whole wide world to pray for him and his family because he has just been downsized out of his job. You cannot pretend to know nothing about it. Your spare bedroom eliminates that crisis and your empty nest. But the empty nest extinction is not predestined. Just as outlawing hunting of endangered animals has helped to preserve our wildlife, we must take steps to protect the empty nest. I suggest embracing your natural instinct to unnest, followed by downsizing. Downsizing is as simple as moving to a smaller home or changing your house to a 1-bedroom or redesigning your spare bedroom into like a garden room. or something like that. In psychology today, the unnesting instinct is described as something women go through at menopause, when they naturally start to clear out drawers and just throw out things, kind of like the opposite of nesting when you're about to have a baby. You have unnesting. Don't wait to menopause. That way the men can participate. I suggest starting in the spring semester of your child's senior year, just after spring break, when everything looks rosy and he's walking around with a permanent smirk on his face that says, I'm about to be an adult and you can't boss me around anymore. Get up early one Saturday morning, put 3 big bins in the middle of the kitchen or wherever he eats, because that's for sure where he will end up eventually that day. And on those 3 bins, write trash, Goodwill, and goes with Junior. Eventually, he will get the hint and you will get him out of there pretty soon. Because of the many dangers to the traditional empty nest, we must do what we can to encourage our young ones to leave home. I try not to dwell on the threat of aging parents or poor relatives, because I may find myself one day needing to move in with one of my children or a distant cousin. The most important thing to remember is that if we're lucky enough to ever have an empty nest, we must not spend any time in depression. Thank you.
It's on. Okay. So, I've never met these folks tonight. These are some random people we found in our audience. I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you guys. We'll start with this gentleman over here on this side. Sir, if you'll introduce yourself and then give me your opinion on Tanya's little speech there.
Well, I've been informed that I'm the straight guy tonight. Anyway.
We're just like you.
So then I'm going to be serious.
You're true. Please.
Please, don't disclose my first name, y'all.
Anyway, Tanya, I found the speech extremely good, and I have taken it totally to heart, and I will spread the word.
Thank you. Thank you.
Darling, how did you know all these things? You would think you were a mother. Oh, you are a mother. Oh.
She watches Oprah.
And she watches Oprah. That was delightful.
And I'm almost old enough for an empty nest.
Not quite. Very, very well done. I'm very impressed. This is a surprise that you have this great talent. I hope we will use it again.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm Vampira.
Okay. Well,
And who are you?
yeah, who am I? Who am I? That's a great question. No, most of you are more familiar with my father. I don't really have much fame to speak of as of yet, but I will be taking on the family tradition. My father is more commonly known as simply Death. And I'm, sense of humor, he may be Death Junior. So. It's not funny, I got the death certificate to prove it, so there you go. All right.
Really, Debbie.
Yes, yes. And some of you might be wondering what qualifies Death to be a judge in a talent competition.
Yes, I was just thinking that.
Excellent, excellent. Well, let me answer that question with a question of sorts. At a talent competition, we have performers on stage performing for the sake of entertaining an audience.
Yes.
Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, when it comes to live performances, a performer can do one of two things. They either kill or they die. And let me ask you, who knows more about killing and dying than yours truly? Moving right along, Tanya.
Yes,
That was great.
thank you. Thank you.
All right, well, remember, it's not our judges who will decide who is going to win the talent show tonight. It's all up to you. At the end of the night, you'll be filling out a ballot and letting everybody know who wins. So, thank you, Tanya. And now I'd like to bring up Amaya Semro, Aubrey Semro, and Michelle Davis. Need any assistance, ladies? Any help? This.
Thank you, minions.
And they're going to perform
Thank you, Dave, and
You guys from Despicable Me? Minions.
Thank you, minions. So let's make Amaya, Aubrey, and Michelle feel welcome. Robin Robin.
He rocks in the treetop all day. All the little birdies on Jay Bird sing, love to hear
love that song. You guys want to sit down here and listen to what our judges have to say about it? Tell you what, girls, you get the Ellen chair. You both get to fit in here. Come on down too, Michelle. Michelle, come on down. We got plenty of room for you up here too. No? No, Michelle? Oh, she's good though. We love Michelle anyway, right? She's adorable. So, son of Death, why don't we start off with you?
Yeah, Death Junior.
Death Junior. Oh, beg your pardon.
Well, before I render my judgment, I just want to say that what I'm about to say doesn't come easy to me. I loved it!
Oh,
You young ladies have set the bar pretty high for the rest of the competition tonight. Great job.
Woo! You know you're good when Death Junior loves it.
See me after the show. Well, girls, you were just fantastic. Do you know who Dracula is? Michelle, do you know who Dracula is? Dracula's a vampire. And I'm not Dracula. But I am a vampire. And I must tell you, I have a joke. What do you call a duck with fangs?
Do you call a duck with fangs?
All right, we give up.
Duck fire, that's very duck fire, very good. It is Quackula. So you guys play the guitar even better than I do. So I want you to look at your parents and say, at the same time, on the count of 3, I'm going to be a star. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to be a star.
1 out of 2.
I think Michelle said it. You didn't hear it. I'm going to be a star. Thank you, girls. You were lovely.
One more.
Well, I agree with my vampire judge that we will be stars. I just relived my teenage years with that song and all the dancing and the energy that you put into it. I just think you were spectacular. Thank you.
All right. Hey, before you go, you want to play a game? You know we love to play games here on Ellen, right? Yeah, good. We're going to play What's That Smell?
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, remember it's trick or treat time too, so it could be something good that smells good, or it could be something that doesn't smell good. Still want to play? Yeah, okay, give me a big hand. What's that smell? I need you girls to close your eyes. I'm going to put this bag in front of you. Don't look in there.
Ellen.
Oh, nope, we're fine. I may be crazy, but it's not nuts, okay? Your whip. Smell that? Can you smell it there, Michelle? Can you smell it? Okay, guess. What's that smell? No, it's not. Marshmallow! Yeah. You know we have to put these away yet, Ellen, so you're all going home with marshmallows today. Everybody gets marshmallows. All right, there you go, ladies. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Suzanne and Katie Newhouse. Where's Suzanne and Katie? Oh, here we are. Come on up, ladies. Okay. So you need to
So why is Dracula boring? Are you ready?
because he sucks.
No, because he's a pain in the neck. Actually, wasn't very funny.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. Are you ready now? Not yet?
Well, you're going to have to be a little
And you are going to have to listen very carefully if you intend to hear the background. Otherwise, it will be all about us.
Sir, wait. Greg, get that on the PA?
Get it in.
No. Get that on the RPA? No?
Use the microphone.
We might be able to do that. Okay.
All right.
I don't know where the speaker is.
Crank that master.
Do you want me to help you? I can sit right here and hold the microphone.
That would be groovy grand.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna need a lot of space. Huh?
You're right.
No.
Good.
There you go. And we need to borrow this. No, we don't. You don't need that at all. You're just not gonna need it at all. Okay. So, we're not gonna use that. Because we don't really have time to mess with that. I'll get you this. We're gonna have to do all the way back.
Here, we'll just kind of set these two out.
Where are the menus?
Just put this in. One's right there, the other's
Where are the menus?
right there.
Menu job.
Yeah, I see how it's
Okay, you get ready. Okay. All right, you ready, Kate? You're gonna have to listen really carefully. Because we're having technical difficulties.
Is it? Yeah, space. There you go. Take it. Okay, good.
It started when your father.
There's been some confusion over ringing your ashes.
But of course I'll care for Nessa,
But of course I'll pass above it.
for I know that's how you'd want me to respond.
There's been some confusion, for you see my roommate too's unusually and exceeding peculiar and altogether quite impossible to describe.
Blonde.
What is this feeling so sudden and new?
I felt the moment my eyes laid on you.
My pulse is rushing,
My head is reeling.
my face is flushing.
What is this feeling? Fervid as a flame. Does it have a name? Yes.
Loathing, unadulterated loathing for your face,
Your voice.
your clothing.
Let's just say
I love it all.
every little drink, however small, makes my very flesh begin to crawl. The simple act of loathing
What Is This Feeling from the musical Wicked. So come on over, ladies, and have a seat. Let's hear from our judges. Vampire, they've already got their own microphone. Go ahead, Vampire, get us started.
So, what is Dracula's favorite drink?
I don't know what it says.
Dracula's Ellen. Okay, what is Dracula's favorite drink?
Blood?
Blood.
Well,
Human blood?
expand on that.
Oh, it's
A Bloody Mary.
Oh, Debbie. Of course you knew that. Yeah. Girls, I only have one word for your performance.
Well, I felt like I was in New York at a show on Broadway.
Okay, ladies, well, this isn't really fair. My opinion's kind of biased because, well, I kind of got a thing for witches, so. Hey-oh. I can just listen to that all day long.
There's my cards, so put them down somewhere. There they are. Did, thank you. Okay, one more time for Suzanne and Kate, everybody. Okay, how about another round of What's That Smell? Yeah, who wants to play? Let me go with our band of judges for this round. What's your next one?
Jeff Jr.
Jeff Jr. Did I say you want to
The DJ.
Okay.
Let's see how the smell.
Close your eyes. No cheating.
What I cheat?
Junior. He's cute.
Don't cheat death, death don't cheat you. That's how it works, okay? Hey, give me.
Come on. It's an obvious smell. You know it anywhere.
Who?
Ooh, no, good. Close. Simple. It's popcorn.
Oh!
Oh, Lord?
Well, that, yeah.
Is it popcorn?
It is! You get to go with the popcorn. Okay. What?
I just know the smell after it's been popped.
A long road to get to that one, didn't we? Okay, let's bring up Terry Earhart Davis. Terry Earhart Davis.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi, Terry. I love the dance and the
I'm
sandals.
so excited to be here.
I'm excited. I'm excited. So, Terry, you're going to read us a story. A very good story for Halloween. What Was I Scared Of by Dr. Seuss.
Well, have you ever heard of What Was I Scared Of, Ellen?
No, I haven't, actually.
Have you ever heard of this?
That was me elevating in case you didn't catch that.
Have you ever heard of the Sneetches? Have you ever heard of the Sneetches?
No,
Who's heard of the
that's new to me.
Sneetches? Who's heard of the Sneetches? Who's heard of Dr. Seuss? Well, if you've heard of the Sneetches, it's part of a book called The Sneetches and Other Stories, and way in the back is a gem that my parents, my dad, read to me when I was a kid. So it's sort of a family tradition that I'm passing on to my children.
Okay.
And it's called, What Was I Scared Of? Well, I was walking in the night and I saw nothing scary. For I had never been afraid of anything. Not very. And there's pictures, but I don't think you can see them. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved. Those empty pants, they kind of started jumping, and then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that I did not care for. No, sir. Well, after that, a week went by. Then, one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach and had started back through town when those pants raced round the corner and they almost knocked me down. Oh. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride them, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them.
I'm there.
And the next night, I went fishing for doubt trout on the Ruver River. When those pants came rowing toward me, well, I started to shiver. And by now, I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rowed away and lost my hook, line, and bait too. Oh. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches. But I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night. The next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt. But I had to do an errand, so the next night I went out. I had to do an errand. I had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I bet that he knew. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place. Those spooky pale green pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help, I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried. Oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist, and I sat right down beside them. I calmed them down. Poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants. And we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi.
Dr. Seuss fan forever. It's the first time I've ever heard that story.
I don't wear these pants.
All right. So, judges, what did you think of Harry's storytelling?
Well, I got so afraid while I was listening that I missed part of the story because I was shaking so much. But that was very dramatic, and I'm glad you told the story.
All right.
Wow. If my little vampirelets were here, I would say, please read it again. You read it with such emotion and charisma. It was like we were there, right in Dr. Seuss's book. It was magnificent.
Oh, wow, what can I say? Absolutely fabulous performance. It favorite part of every scary movie I've ever seen? That would be the scary part.
All right.
I loved it! That was great.
Boy, I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. How about you guys? Y'all have a good appetite? Guess what? We got a delicious dinner next door of marshmallows. You guys can provide it, right? All right. And popcorn.
So are we doing
marshmallows?
We're taking a break then?
I am recording.
I just said no.
We have one more.